welcome to you. It's time for us to celebrate creativity in the arts. What we prepare for you today? This dance, fashion show, tribute to an art icon, visit to Alaafin's palace, and a trip to Idanre Hills. Now you know why you have to spend 30 minutes of your time with us today. Alright, let's go straight into the business of the day by telling you about one of the things that make Nigeria beautiful. My name is Chioma Okpara. Once again, welcome to Art and Leisure. Nigerian dance is a subsect of the African dance culture. It is rich, magnetic, and dynamic. Music and dance are part of life of every Nigerian. The day you're born is celebrated, and so is the day you die. Virtually every tribe has its own unique traditional dance. Nigerian traditional dance tends to express situations, emotions, sentiments, and beliefs. It is also a major source of entertainment. In fact, every experience in the culture is translated into music and dance. Indigenous musical instruments are used here, and as the melody from the instruments and the steps of the dancers fuse into art that can be appreciated by all, many believe that it is possible to have a country where there is peace, love, and harmony. Welcome back. The summary of that report is that there's beauty in our diversity. Now let's narrow it down to a particular tribe. The management staff of the Center for Black and African Arts and Civilization paid a courtesy call on Oba Lamidi Fakeye, the Alaafin of Oyo. That was my first time of visiting the palace, and there's so much history in that large compound. Stick around for details. They were welcomed by the cultural ambassador to the Alaafin, Dr. Paula Gomez. It is a taboo to walk beyond this point with your shoes glued to your soles. This reception is where the Oba meets with some of his visitors.
Everything is in mud. It didn't destroy anything. It just covered it with wood that it can preserve it.
His Royal Highness Oba Lamidi Fakeye, the Alaafin of Oyo, has been on the throne for 45 years. After greetings, the Director General of the Center for Black and African Arts and Civilization told the Alaafin what their mission was in his palace.
We felt that it's necessary to let the Alaafin, the present Alaafin, who is highly educated both in foreign and traditional education, we felt it is good to engage him, to constructively engage him on our history, on our culture, on our even economy. The man's ideas are very wide. He is very deep in the knowledge of the African tradition.
Elected Oba promised to work with the center in the actualization of her goals. He gave a brief history of the Oyo Empire.
In history, whether ancient or modern, the largest and longest served empire was Oyo Empire that lasted for 600 years. Well, it's a wonderful thing and it's a privilege. It's an honor to be a successor to the rulers of that empire. This stone was inherited, never changed. This place we have is the place that the Oyo Ministry and the Alaafin hold their cabinet meeting weekly. We try to improve on it, make it very comfortable for people. We have fun, we have air conditioning, we have everything here. Outside here, if I had the opportunity time, I would take you. We have open spaces very well. We have compounds inside, divided into 3 important sections. One section for Alaafin wives, one section for the Alaafin, another section where the Alaafin can receive the president, the governor. These are very sophisticated areas, everything there.
The center did not come empty-handed. Pictures were taken, and thereafter the group went on a short sightseeing around the palace. Dr. Paula Gomez is from Lisbon. She's been resident in Oyo for 5 years.
It's a pleasure to me to be able to be in Oyo, to be able to interact with the people, with Kabiyesi, with the prince, the princess, and with all environments and with the traditional people. So it takes time, dedication, love. Without it, it will not succeed.
The Oba explains why she's his cultural ambassador.
I want it to be a universal thing. Once you get one of them to be immersed in that culture, white people will appreciate it because they want to know why Paula, why Alaafin. So the best thing to do, if you want to catch a fish, you must give My daughter wanted to be cultural ambassador. My own daughter, senior daughter, she studied in America and is a grade A student. But you will not be better understood by the people. You cannot yourself propagate your own father because of the sentimental and emotional attachment. There's nothing right that will be objective. It will be subjective. To be a very objective person, I must get a professor, a doctor, distinguished scholar. Not even Oyo. They will ask Anakwe, why are you? You are not a Yoruba. Say, allow me Yoruba by conviction. That's the only way you can reach out to the world.
It was a happy meeting, and the management staff of the Center for Black and African Arts and Civilization got a good dose of Oyo hospitality. Good to have you back. Hope you enjoyed that report. Now to our next. Artists don't really die because their works are always there. Lamidi Fakeye was a sculptor whose fame went beyond the shores of Nigeria. He died in 2009 but left footprints on the sands of time. This is our tribute to him. Take a look. Lamidi Fakeye is of the 5th generation of woodcarvers in the Fakeye family. He started carving at the age of 10. He had his first solo exhibition on the 3rd of March 1960 at the British Council, Ibadan. Oyasaf has the largest collection of his artworks.
With a lot of prize incentives from him, we acquired over 40 works of his, in our foundation. He even spent time for 2.5 years doing a particular work for us, about 13 feet variation, 13 feet variation of his work on Ifa, the story of creation. He did this work between 2005 and finished it in 2000 and late 2007. It's a story of the story of creation by Ifa.
Lamidi taught in the Department of Fine Arts at the Alaafin of Oyo University. It was there he carved one of his masterpieces, Oduduwa.
He was a friend to Professor Roger Makojola. I think Roger Makojola discovered his talent and put him there as I think a professor emeritus to lecture and impart his God-given talent to the young ones. Roger Makojola, Professor Roger Makojola, didn't want him to die, without transferring some of the talents God gave him. And to a large extent, he did his best. He transferred some of the talents he had in his wood carving. And of course, I know that one or two people have since taken after him. And I must put on record that he told me the story of how Lamidi Fakeye trained under him. Lamidi Fakeye is his cousin, was his cousin. I trained under him and learned the rudiments of wood carving from his uncle. He told me stories like that. At the University of Ife, he was an emeritus professor, and he was not supposed to be writing papers, because he wasn't that educated to write academic papers. The whole essence was for him to transfer the craft and the skill of wood carving, for which he had great talents.
Lamidi traveled round the world teaching as a visiting professor. His artworks are done choice places in different parts of the world.
In America, where he was usually invited, with particular reference, I think Professor Haida also, with particular reference to Professor Haida and his team in Wisconsin University, they used to invite him to give lectures even towards the last part of his life. And I know that he told me many times that he had works at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. He has a door at the American Consulate Office at #1 Broad Street here in Lagos, and many major works. And the Smithsonian Institute of African Art in Washington, D.C. also has his work. And, great institutions in many parts of the world, have his works.
A native of Osun State, he was given the title Order of the Federal Republic of Nigeria during independence. In 2006, UNESCO gave him the title Living World Treasure.
Lamidi was a very great carver when it comes to wood. I remember the major project we had together, which was the 13-feet Yoruba, the story of Ifa's story of the creation of the world. He spent some months looking for the wood and kept telling me that until he finds the wood, his spirit tells him to carve the work of art with. He will not carve it. One day he walked to me and said, I have now found the wood and I have moved it to my studio and I'm going to carve. And he spent about 2.5 years carving that work. Lamidi was a very simple man. He was a very simple man. He was, towards the later part of his life, he wasn't very happy. He wasn't very happy because he was not given the recognition he would have liked to have in this country when compared to the kind of eminence and respectability he was being given in America. He gave me stories about how he had some difficult times at the University of Ife as part of the educational staff. He was not very, very happy, and one of the greatest periods of his life actually was when UNESCO gave him the award of the Living Human Treasure. Lamidi was so elated. He came here and showed me, I think the plaque he was given at that time. Lamidi was a very simple man. He would come in here unannounced and come with his wife at times.
Lamidi Fakeye passed on the 25th of December 2009 at the age of 81, but his memory lingers on. Welcome back. We encourage you to work towards leaving a legacy. Now to what our fashion designers have done with Ankara. You'd find this interesting, so stay. These clothes can be worn to the office, some to special events, and others can be classified as casual wears. Ankara, Akwete, Ashoke, and other fabrics have been sewn to fit both young and old. Our fashion designers believe that it is possible to dress the Nigerian way from head to toe.
This is a nice Ankara bag, and it's made from locally made material here in Ankara, and also I get the things I use for it, the materials I use for it, I get it here too in Nigeria. You can actually throw it on now on anything you wear, and people normally appreciate it a lot because people buy often as almost every day. Someone comes to pick up a bag or a bracelet or a pair of Ankara shoes or Ankara boots. So it's all about Ankara these days. I also have the ones I embellish with the stones as well. The stones are gotten from here as well in Nigeria, so I embellish it with the stones, but it's the same thing as well. And people normally appreciate it to take it out for parties, and when you have gorgeous occasions you need to go to, you can throw it on anything you're wearing and you feel comfortable wearing it as well. I have trendy ramboba, so you know some young girls are like, oh no, I don't want to wear a ramboba, it's too old school for me. So I then created this. It's a chiffon. It's chiffon, like everyone normally throws on chiffon. And then you have your Iro here. Sorry. You have your Iro here on, which you can actually just tie. And it's trendy. It's something that anyone would want to adorn their body with. It's really nice. And you throw it on and then you wear it with you. It's trendy, ramboba, and you feel comfortable with it. If you're a kind of guy that loves to wear a face cap, I have the face cap in Ankara as well. You wear it on and then you feel comfortable with it. I feel so good in African attire. Since I started my brand in January this year, I don't think I've ever gone back to wear something English, because I take my African fabric and I turn it into whatever it is I feel like wearing in an English outfit. So, and it fits, I fit perfectly in it.
Ankara fabric has found its way into everything that we do. It's in every home, worn by every class. Thanks to our designers who keep on churning out interesting designs. Now let's tell you about an upcoming event you shouldn't miss. Stick around. Seeds of Peace, the Sower and the Envoy is the title of an upcoming art exhibition. Ridwan Oshinowo got his inspiration for the Holy Quran, and he'll be showing more than 40 art pieces.
You should be expecting something great, something that we say, wow. In terms of, if you want to, are you expecting to see materials? You're expecting to see different materials, different medium. You're expecting to see different illustrations in calligraphy, in some figuratives that are very halal, that's very lawful in Islam. You have come to see good and great number of things, ranging from oil and canvas, acrylic on canvas, mixed media, ACP, because there's a material I call ACP, aluminum composite panel. This is a material that I use mirror gold of it. I use quite a number of these things. People are coming to something that is really, really good to give them hope, and then that they're going to like and then be happy with.
We've been seeing a lot of mixed media. About 80% of the work on display will be mixed media, using different category of material, harmonizing them on each work, which is talking about the consideration, the peaceful coexistence, the peace that this exhibition is actually talking about.
Only one artist will have his works on display. Many people believe in what he's focusing on.
It's an Islamic art exhibition. It's not just an ordinary exhibition, which makes the difference. We're trying to promote Islam. We're trying to project some of the values of Islam. Islam is a religion of peace, and we want people to embrace peace in this country.
Apart from the exhibition, there will also be a seminar where Muslim and Christian clerics will deliver papers.
Art exhibition is enough, but also not enough. People need education, knowledge and understanding to be able to live together happily, especially where you have people of different faiths as we have in Nigeria. You know, once there is common understanding of individuals' faith and you have mutual respect for one another, life will be meaningful and will be more comfortable for all of us. And that is why we need to bring in a little bit of academic and theoretical issues to drive home our points.
Seeds of Peace, the Sower and the Envoy is an art exhibition that is geared towards the promotion of peace, love and unity. It will take place at the National Museum, Lagos from 30th of August to 6th of September. Okay, so make out time to see that exhibition. You would live longer when you go to galleries, go for art events, go see exhibitions. You know, there's so many nice things for you to see. You'd live longer, I promise you. All right, now to our leisure segment. We're taking a trip to Idanre Hills. If you've not visited the place, please, before you go to meet God, try and go to Idanre Hills in Ankara, Ondo State. Let's show you what the place looks like. I hired a cab from the main town to Idanre, a near smooth winding road, but for intermittent bumps. In about 30 minutes, I was at Idanre, the historic town in Ondo State. Owosheni, an excursion officer, lectures me on the features of this tourist site. He's not new on the job, so he's not bothered about the faded ink on the board. He knows the 11 attraction spots by heart.
The great step is the one you are about to climb now. Formerly it was 160 steps with 5 resting points along the road. But with the new construction now, we're having about 660 steps with the same 5 resting points. Agbogo footprints is a magical footprint on the rock. The tourist chalet is meant for lodging, to keep your night at the top of the hill. The ancient palace built about 800 years ago. Idanre people lived for good 800 years at the top of the hill before they came down to the present place in 1928. It was civilization that brought them down. Even not because of civilization, the present Idanre here might be at the top of the hill. The unreadable letters, we call it hieroglyphs. The striking of the light coming from the rock forming some alphabets. We have petroglyphs. Petroglyphs is a form of a diagram. The wonderful map placed on the hill over there dangling Omiapara and Aron River, unique in the sense of the therapy effect is having in the body. We believe it's healing when you dip yourself inside and bath with it. However, it too is unique in the sense that it forms a canopy. You know what we call a border in geography? The splitting of a part of a big rock to form another shape entirely. So it's in form of a cave. The old court and the old primary school built in the year 1896.
Idanre Hills measure about 50 kilometers in radius. It will take a tourist 3 days to cover the entire hills. I seem prepared to climb the 660 steps, and Eddie, another excursion officer, is willing to go all the way with me. I dragged Joshua along. He's a fan. We've covered 70 steps. Mr. Eddie, my tour guide, will talk to us about this place.
This is the cave. It's not sure it's a government object. This is where we can really relax your body when there is fun or rain. It's a cave.
70 steps covered, 590 more to go. This is a walk amidst beautiful hills of different sizes. The work of nature is spellbinding. Eddie tells me that water pebble was used for the steps. We've covered 260 steps. This is the second resting place. I'm so excited because, hey, I made it!
Take care.
There are 2 more resting points before getting to the 660th step. From here, one gets a panoramic view of the ancient town. Welcome back. Today, we set out to celebrate Nigeria. I hope we've achieved that. In case you missed any part of the program, not to worry. You can watch it at your convenience. Just visit www.artandleisure.com.ng. There's so many episodes for you to watch. Please, we'd like to know what your thoughts are on each episode that you watch. So, just leave a comment. My name is Chioma Okpara. Same time, same station. Next week, God willing. Please watch us again. Until then, love yourself, love Nigeria.